Have you ever noticed that when you don't fully trust someone to be careful, you'll do a lot of insane things just to satisfy your reasonable yet overprotective anxieties? Well, that's what Ronnie Anne's family found out in the episode I'm going to talk about today. So join me as I, SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. Cue the intro! Today's episode is The Spies Who Loved Me. In this episode, Ronnie Anne goes exploring in the downtown area of Great Lake City, and because her family thinks it's too dangerous for her to be there alone, they decide to spy on her to make sure she doesn't get hurt. This is the first episode to focus exclusively on both Ronnie Anne and the Casagrandes without anyone from the Loud family being involved. While Lincoln does make a minor cameo at Flip's, he plays no major role in the story. His presence at the Food and Fuel watching Flip lose his mind over trying to fix broken machines is pretty much irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. But besides that, I see this episode as a test pilot to what would later become the spin-off that would begin airing nearly 1 year following this episode's original air date. Even though I appreciate this attempt at demonstrating what a Casa Grande exclusive adventure would look like, this episode didn't exactly leave a good first impression for the upcoming spin-off. The bulk of the story revolves around Ronnie Anne trying to admire the many murals of the city, and she has Carlota and Carl following and recording her while the rest of the family witness the action through a live stream. Speaking of the family, they are what brought this episode down immensely, and it's really a shame too. They were once presented as amusing, interesting, and very unique in their first 2 episodes, but here they're all written exactly the same. They're all paranoid, thinking of any potential worst case scenario that could happen to Ronnie Anne, even though they could see how she's competent enough to avoid any hazards and not put herself in danger. I mean, yeah, there was that one instance where she did have her eyes on her phone and not watching where she was going, but for God's sake, her family seriously believed in the possibility of her having a prison pen pal. Now look, I understand their mentality because Ronnie Anne is still new to the city. The Casagrandes have more knowledge of the streets than she does, and with her coming from a small town where she was more familiar with her surroundings, they were worried something would happen to her in a place that's still new and unfamiliar. I'm not saying they can't make sure she's near a hospital or a fire station if something did happen. A good family member should be looking out for the safety of a loved one. Still, even after Ronnie Anne sees what they have been up to and calls them out by saying they need to stop following her, they just keep doing it anyway. This leads to a moment where they believe she went into an abandoned house because they saw the tracker they secretly placed in her backpack go in there. They go to the house and see that not only is Ronnie Anne not in there, but they also see that the tracker fell out of her backpack and got stuck to a rat. Oh yeah, and somehow Hector legitimately believed the rat ate Ronnie Anne. Okay. They call home and Ronnie Anne picks up. They explain what they had gotten themselves into, and Ronnie Anne comes to save the day. The one good thing I will say regarding the rescue mission was how we got to see Ronnie Anne demonstrate her skills as a skateboarder. It may have been quick, but it did show how smart she was when it came to disposing of the rats surrounding her loved ones. Afterward, the family decided that Ronnie Anne could in fact take care of herself, and they were no longer going to spy on her the next time she went outside, provided she carries Rosa's lucky crystal and calls in every few hours. Overall, this episode had the right idea, and while I don't really discredit the Casagrandes for wanting to ensure Ronnie Anne's safety, the way they went about conducting themselves was just bad. If it was just the grandparents getting overly concerned, then that would have been fine. But when the entire family displays the same "we can't trust her whatsoever" mentality, it doesn't do any one of them any favors. Even though I'll give Carl a point for at least attempting to be funny when he was out following and trying to protect Ronnie Anne, the humor still felt very flat. Aside from Ronnie Anne in the moment she had, everything else about this episode just comes off as either stupid, disappointing, or in Lincoln's case, completely irrelevant at best. Once again, while I appreciate it for being a test pilot so we as the audience can get a feel for what the spin-off is going to be like, this wasn't a good first impression. To be honest, this could have been used in the first season of the Casa Grande spin-off and no one would have noticed. That's the only other thing I can say about this episode, which would be it doesn't feel like it belongs in the Loud House. Believe me when I say say there is a very different vibe when you watch The Loud House and The Casa Grandes. I share the same sentiments when watching the Casa Grande adventures that take place during the 4th season of TLH, and when you watch those episodes and this one, hopefully you'll see what I mean. With that said, I give The Spies Who Loved Me a 5.5 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of The Spies Who Loved Me. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.